Senator Obama, you have Bill Clinton's former national security advisor, State Department policy director, and Navy secretary, among others, advising you. With relatively little foreign policy experience of your own, how will you rely on so many Clinton advisors and still deliver the kind of break from the past that you're promising voters?
Well, I am...
I want to hear that.
Well, Hillary, I'm looking forward to you advising me as well.
That's a light moment on Thursday as the Democrats participated in the last debate of theirs before Iowans cast their votes on January 3rd. Republicans debated in Iowa on Wednesday, and both those, Jim, both of those debates got pretty bad reviews.
Yes, they did, because...
Are people just tired of them, or are the debates getting worse?
Well, on the Republican debate, it was that Carolyn Washburn, the editor of the Des Moines Register, was like, Nurse Ratched in terms of being negative and hostile and wouldn't let Republicans talk about issues they wanted to talk about, like immigration. Immigration is a pretty big issue inside the Republican Party. And she says, we can't talk about that. She did nothing but snarl at Republicans. They put Alan Keyes, who, no offense to both of the Alan Keyes supporters out there in the country, is a goofball of a candidate, and instead put him in just to screw up the Republican side. And then, to help the Democrats, conversely, they left Dennis Kucinich, who's got a lot more support inside the Democratic Party than Alan Keyes does inside the Republican Party, and left him out because they just wanted a better-looking field for the Democrats. This is the most flagrant kind of media bias, and Republicans, at least, should be outraged.
And if you looked at the tone, I watched both of the debates. If you looked at the tone of the two debates, Ms. Washburn was kind of detached, a Nurse Ratched personality, but in the Democratic debate, it was almost like she was one of the gang. She was laughing it up with them. She was making little aside remarks. She was commenting on some of their answers. She looked like she was part of the party. In the Republican debate, she looked like a hall monitor.
Jane, did you see it any differently?
Well, I don't think she looked too, she was pretty humorless all around. I mean, I watched it and I thought, this is why people hate the media. I mean, Fred Thompson was right to say, I ain't doing any hand shows.
That was great.
I mean, the media, they did this in many of the debates. All of you who think global warming is a problem, raise your hand. I mean, that is insulting. And if you watch the focus groups that Fox and CNN ran, people hate the media for acting that way, and they're right to do so.
And the format was the problem. And I don't know how the Des Moines Register thought, you know what, we're going to control this message, this debate, but it came across as stilted and it not allowing interchanges or exchanges between the candidates that really are the most valuable part of any debate process.
This doesn't happen too often.
So it's worth dwelling on that.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to savor the moment. Let's have a moment of savoring here.
I saw something yesterday, science getting into politics, that I've never seen before. It was on Britt Hume's show, and he had a guy on, Juan, maybe you'd know his name and have been on with him, and I forget which candidates he was monitoring, but it was, people must have been hooked up to electrodes.
Was this Frank Luntz?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The meters.
Did he have Mitt Romney talking, and somebody else, two candidates talking, and you could see second by second what was happening in the bloodstreams, in the deepest parts of the human innards.
It's like the emergency room at the hospital.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. And occasionally Luntz would point out, now so-and-so's going to say something that people are really going to enjoy, and these lines wiggle up to the top of the screen.
It's totally emotion-driven.
Correct.
It has absolutely nothing to do with substance. And we got in these debates, and
but it does.
Eric liked it.
I didn't say I liked it. I was just having fun describing it.
Well, it's 20 seconds. You get 20 seconds for an answer.
It's not scientific, but it's compelling.
Why isn't it scientific? It is exactly scientific.
Because he gets known Republicans together, and people question it. CNN did the same thing.
I'll actually help Eric. I'll take mercy on you, Eric, and say this. Look, the reason it's interesting is because you don't know what's going to happen next. That's kind of the thing about news as opposed to scripted material is literally you don't know what's going to happen. We got two races in Iowa, Democrat and Republican. Nobody has any idea who's going to win or coming first or coming third, for that matter. We just don't know.
But
and
it's our
exciting
job to find out in advance.
But you look for tools, and like your little pupil meter thing.
It's not my little pupil meter.
The thing you like so much. It's a tool that gives people insights, like reading tea leaves or doing astrological science.
I'll say this for the debates. You don't need those monitors to know that debates actually are doing better in the ratings. And that's a surprise to me because people talk about how boring they are. But as we get closer now, I think the national attention is is picking up, and debates are doing better in the ratings.
That's correct.
And maybe they're doing worse with the critics because the critics have just seen enough, but the viewers are now starting to watch more.
They're doing worse with the critics when they're obviously flagrantly biased, like the Des Moines Register.
Jane, I'll give you a last word.
I think people are paying attention, and even if they're not watching the debates, they're watching the news stories about the debates. The surprise is the American people are interested. Hello, that's a good thing.